Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about getting thanks and fixing things. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, do people thank you for fixing things as a programmer? And the short answer is mostly no. But although they may not say thank you, most of the time you will still get, if you play your cards right, you're going to get a much better thank you than you could possibly get from just words, because words are usually cheap. Let me explain. So I think it's not that much of a stretch to claim that there's not that many professions just anywhere where people will actually thank you for your job. Maybe if you're a doctor or a fireman or something and you save somebody's life, they might say thank you or like show you appreciation in some fashion. But for most of us who do things that people kind of just take for granted, they don't really say thank you. And programming is one of those things where it's, I don't think, I mean, it's even to the point where if we deliver a big software project, usually it's not the programmers who get the thank you, it's usually the salespeople, like the person who is in the spotlight who is actually getting all the praise, right? Or the company as a whole, or the project manager. Oh, thank you for delivering this thing. It's an awesome product, etc., etc. And all the while, all the engineers sits back there and they kind of go, "Yeah, great job, guys. You really came through on this one." And that's just part of it. If you think about it, why do you even know about Bill Gates? Is it because you know that? Is it because he's a good programmer? No, it's because he's rich. He created a company. Like nobody would give a shit about Bill Gates on average if he didn't become the great entrepreneurial success that he is today. And that's true for all programmers. Nobody gives a shit about what you do because most people don't understand what you do. It's only when you show them the value of what you do, they start getting their eyes they go up and they realize that shit, this person is actually really useful. And that's the thing that is more interesting here than getting the thank you. Because fixing things, that's a big topic. What do you mean by fixing things? Do you mean fixing bugs? Do you mean fixing a work process? Do you mean delivering on work and so forth, being faster than other people? It's a very tricky topic. Some developers go most of their careers, and I've met these developers, they spend so much time trying to be useful to the company. They try, especially the junior ones in the beginning, they try to fix things, they try to improve things, then they think that they're helping or they're showing their value or their contribution. But most of them, they don't actually understand the difference between fixing something that matters and just fixing something that nobody cares about. That's a big difference. Nobody's going to tell a junior developer that, oh no, you shouldn't fix this bug because it doesn't really matter. You're going to encourage them and they're going to feel a sensation of, oh yeah, I'm providing value. And some developers, even up to senior level, they care about topics and they improve in areas where very few people pay any real attention. It's great that you're doing this thing over here and that's awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. And you might get a symbolic pat on the shoulder because you're fixing it. But the person is getting all the promotions and like actually gets to stay in a company when things are bad and so forth, that's the person who understands that difference between what is actually valuable to be working on and what's not valuable to work on. As an example, I've seen this happen 100 times, if a junior developer comes in and says, hey, you know what, I have created a standard component library, or I've cleaned up the CSS in this area, or I've abstracted away these problems and so forth. Like a few developers might raise their eyebrows and say, oh, that's really nice. But most people won't actually care, especially not your manager. They won't really care all that much because it's not tangible to them that this provided any type of value. You fixed a few legacy things. Doesn't really make any difference to the company. Doesn't really make a difference to most people's day. You may have saved someone a few minutes here or lessened the cognitive load on some developers, but it doesn't really matter. On the other hand, if you then have a mid-level programmer or someone who is a little bit more experienced come in and say, hey, you know what, I figured out a way to run all of our acceptance tests or end-to-end tests in parallel. So we should see a reduction of 20 minutes or half an hour on all our testing. Now that is useful, because that equals faster delivery time. I hope that makes that's something that even most developers might think that that's really nice. It's still a nice to have for most people who are non-developers, but they can understand the value of that, because you just reduced, like, I don't know how many hours of work over in the coming years for all the developers, because it's, waiting for things is just a waste of time. So that's an example of a really, really good thing. Something that really makes a difference. That's going to get you, definitely going to get you to the thank you. And maybe even better, it might actually give you people a sensation of that this programmer is really valuable to our company. They have done these things here. Nobody really asked them to them, and like the company is much better off from having this individual in the company. We should really hold on to this guy or girl. Like, this person should really we should stick around. These are the sort of things that make people appreciate you. They may not say thank you as much, but they will appreciate you and they will understand your value, and that is more important, because value you can convert into career options, promotions, higher pay, all of these things, and even better, your word will weigh heavier. If you are perceived as being a highly appreciated, valuable developer within a company, you will be surprised at how much of a difference that makes when you're making technical decisions. The highest, like, you can go even further and you can say that, oh, this person created a tool or a work process or something like that that makes it extremely efficient for us to develop some part of the system, that it just something that used to take several days, if not weeks, is now basically just a click of a button. It just happens immediately. That's also an example of, like, you improve the time to market, or you do something like that actually converts it very quickly into cash or money for the company. It's very clear that you saved a lot of time by doing this innovation here. That's usually how a developer helps out. Or you have some great idea that just sells really well in the marketplace, like a new project or something like that. These sorts of things, if you fix these sorts of things, that definitely is going to give you more value than anything else that you can imagine. So what I want you to take away from this is that it's very rare that someone's going to thank you for just doing your job, like fixing a bug, fixing some production outage, or like just doing normal developer stuff, even if this is very complicated and it's stuff that actually has to be done. That's not what gets people excited. What gets people excited is if you can figure out where you are today and how to make some improvement that actually makes everybody's lives easier. And I'm talking everybody's lives here. I'm not just talking about developers. You might get a high five from a coworker if you fix a nasty bug or clean up some legacy, but not that many people are going to get excited about it. On the other hand, if you create something that reduces the wait time on builds, or if you create something that makes it much faster to develop something that is like a really boilerplate and really boring, nobody really wants to do this, but we do that every single time we need to do this and that. These things, they stand out. And sure, you may not get a thank you, but people will admire you for it, and they will understand that you are valuable to the company. And I will say, on a personal note, in my world, the biggest thank you a developer can get is that people appreciate and depend on the work you do. They may not thank you, but they require the thing that you created. They really need it in their lives, and they don't get by without it. That is the biggest thank you. Have a great day.